Hello everyone, this is Collector of All Things, and today I am excited to talk about another project that I've been working on. In the last couple of videos, we've been looking at EVA foam and the builds that I've been doing with that, and that led me to other places into YouTube and seeing what other people are doing. And I like to create my own stuff. I like one-of-a-kind things. Even though I love collecting, I collect, as you know, an enormous amount of things. And I like one of a kind. Well, what's the best way to get one of a kind? Sometimes the best way to do it is to order a custom item from someone who is an artist who made it. Another way is to do it yourself. And the EVA foam that I've been doing, the builds that I've been doing with it, have led me down the road of something else that I've always wanted to do. So one, I've always wanted to make my own armor, and with the EVA foam, I was able to fool around with that and do it and make my own helmet. So if you haven't seen those videos, check those out. They were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it, and I'm super happy with the way that they came out. Well, going along that way, I said, what if I wanted to do another dream of mine? And that's build my own lightsaber, specifically the hilt, not the whole blade. So yes, you can get the blade coming out, but I've always wanted to make my own hilt custom made for myself. So one of the things that led me down the road of this is obviously being a huge fan of Star Wars. And ever since I was a small child, I've loved the movies. And I've collected numerous lightsabers throughout my time, plastic ones, toy ones, you name it. And I've even have a couple of videos on my site where I have two Force FX, the first master replicas, which are phenomenal lightsabers. Maybe what I'll do is I'll pull one over here just to show you this incredible. This is the blade right here, and then you have the hilt. This is the part that I'm talking about. It's a phenomenal lightsaber. And this one does power on. Look at that. That's for a fan, and it's really loud. It has the striking, and it can retract. And so I thought that this was incredible. When these came out, I ran and got one right away. I couldn't believe it. Being a huge fan of Star Wars, I said, I have to pick up one of these. And I have it part of my collection. I loved it. One of the things that I really wish that would have been was a removable blade. Well, when these came out, companies went crazy and said, we're gonna modify these. And you can actually, at the time, you would buy this lightsaber, and then they had they had ways of customizing them to make the blade remove, and they would put LED lights on the bottom instead of the string of LEDs. So they don't retract and close like this, but they do light up, and then you could use them. There's actually tournaments where people clash and hit them. This one is not designed for that. I mean, you can whack another lightsaber, and I have two. You can actually make the clashing sounds and everything. But these were really designed to be that beautiful collectible and look nice. They're not really resistant to a lot of damage. And in fact, if you hit the blade too hard, the LED string has a tendency to break and you'll get black spots inside the blade. So these were not designed for combat. They were designed as a collectible. And but I love the idea of just the hilt itself. So I didn't want to ruin a master replica, as I thought that this was being a collector, I hate destroying a collectible. So for those out there who did it and does the customizing, do it, please. I encourage you to do what you need to do. I do those things too, but not to collectibles like this. So I wanted to keep this an original blade, and I'm super happy with the way that it is. But going from there, I could go and buy, now you can go on custom shops and you can buy parts to make your own custom lightsaber. So what I wanted to do was figure out a way to make my own lightsaber uniquely myself and kind of on a budget too, without having to go to one of these custom shops or anything. So I said, in my mind, I thought about it and I said, what's the best way that you could do this? So I started thinking, where can I get a chassis? So where can I actually get the hilt from to start out? I don't have a metal shop. I don't have a CNC machine, so I can't drill out a pipe or make it. So I said, well, what would be my starting point? And I thought, what about a huge flashlight, a metal aluminum flashlight? So I started doing some research to see what was out there. And I came across, well, you know what? Let's cut to a little video and show you what I came across. So what you'll see in this video is you're going to see the aluminum flashlight that I found and what I did to get the electronic. So what basically I did was I went and I bought a Hasbro plastic lightsaber, and I took the electronics from that and I transposed them into an aluminum lightsaber. So let's take a look at this right now. And so this is the flashlight. This is an aluminum flashlight, all black right here. Very big, as you can see. It's kind of like one of those nightsticks. And this one here, I have the Ray Starkiller based electronic lightsaber. This is a Hasbro plastic lightsaber with the electronics. So I'm taking the plastic lightsaber, I'm going to take the electronics out of that, and then I'm going to make my lightsaber out of the bigger flashlight that you see in this video. So that's where I started. Now I had to come up with a concept and figure out what I was going to do. The first thing I wanted to do was get the electronics out and see exactly what it looked like in the plastic Hasbro lightsaber. So I'm going to show you some clips of me actually taking the lightsaber apart. So this is the lightsaber itself, what it looks like when you purchase it. It's obviously all plastic. And let's see here. What I'm going to use, what I tried to do, I looked at it. There's no screws actually holding it together. There's like the parts itself are glued. So you see me here with a screwdriver trying to take it apart on the back. Eventually what I did was I just went and I got my Dremel, and I started cutting. I used the blade on a very low setting, and I carefully cut the plastic apart. And that's pretty much it. Right after that, when I was finishing cutting it, and I finally got it into two pieces, which you can see right about here. So I finally got the lightsaber apart, and what I'm doing now is I wanted to show that you don't necessarily need to use a Dremel to cut everything down. This plastic is fairly easy to cut. I just went and I got a wire cutter here, and I just cut the plastic apart. And what I did was I wanted to cut it down to size to make a chassis that would fit inside the flashlight itself. So once I got it all apart and I cut it down to size, I got it to look like what we're looking at right now with the switch and the mounting everything, including the speaker on the back. I used hot glue to glue it all together. And then what I did was I put it inside the flashlight itself to test it out. And the flashlight, I actually used the internal lens holder, and I drilled through it so that the lens would have something to poke through. And as you can see, the chassis fits snug inside. I can actually unscrew it and take it apart anytime I need to change the batteries. And what I did too was I hot glued the top portion where the original lens holder was onto the flashlight itself. And then I screwed on the cover and I looked at it and I started testing out the look of the lightsaber. The other thing too you might notice is that I did wrap the hilt with a type of hockey tape. So after watching all that, what did I finally end up with? Well, without further ado, my custom lightsaber hilt. So as you can see, when I started, the flashlight itself was all black. So I wire brushed this part to take off the paint and this part here to give it that brushed aluminum look. This here is where the lens would have like screwed on the top. What I did was I just left it. I love the look of it. And then I took the part that originally housed the LED. I don't know if you can see that. It originally housed the LED. I drilled through it to leave. I wanted to leave this kind of like the board effect in the inside, so to see all the electronics. and then I hot glued the cover, the cap onto it. And the whole housing, actually, I can unscrew it, and whenever I need to change the batteries, I can. And inside you have the chassis. So this is the original plastic that was on the back that I cut down to size. And then I taped over just to make sure that nothing comes apart. I can obviously take the tape off anytime I need to change the batteries. And I made the chassis solid. I mean, it's hot glued. It doesn't move around. I can take the whole thing out if I want, replace it with a different one, and it all goes back together. The other thing too I did was I added this material tape around the handle part to make it look, I wanted to get something that was a little bit like a post-apocalyptic type style, something that wasn't clean, something that had been through combat, you know, not something that was the usual, look like it just came off the assembly line. I wanted something that looked like it was used. Now, I went through the whole trouble of building the chassis and building the electronics. Do they actually work? Well, let's try it out. Look at that. Believe it or not, it actually works. And you got the hum sound. You can look at that. I am so pleased with the way that this came out. I can't believe it's my first time trying it. And you know me, if you've seen my other videos, you know that once I try something and I get close to what I'm looking for, I want to try another one. Now, I started doing another one. I got the parts. My plan, if it works out, is to actually build one with a removable blade. So this one, I didn't do that. This one, probably could have figured out a way to mount a blade. I spent a long time coming up with the concept to figure out some kind of attachment or something. But you know what? That wasn't the goal of this one. The goal of this one was building a hilt. The goal of the next one is to build another hilt. And I'm going to try to improve on the sound effects, try to get like a louder lightsaber. I want to get something that really, you know, hums. So I'm looking at speaker designs. What's great with the electronics is you can adapt a different speaker. You just have to be able to cut and splice the wiring, or if you're good with a soldering iron, just solder. That's basically, I did have to solder some of the wires on this one, but you can, if the wires are stable, if you're careful about cutting and you're, you know, it's really not that hard to transplant the electronics from one to the other, and just be careful with it. But in the overall, I just love the way that this came out. So if you're thinking about doing this, I think if you look for the right one, I went for a flashlight that took D-cell batteries, so that had a big internal, so that it had enough space to be able to put it in. The flashlight, I got it on special, so it did not cost me a lot. Basically, the electronics were more expensive than the flashlight itself, but I figured the whole build, you know, didn't cost a lot. If you find one of these lightsabers on special, or if you look it up on eBay or anything, I mean, you could probably do the whole build for you know, under $50, and you have yourself a custom aluminum metal lightsaber, you know, with a little bit of ingenuity and know-how and thinking about it. So like I said, I'm super happy with the way that it came out. I think that I can't wait to see how the other one's going to turn out. And my plan is to complete that one before my next video. So I will do a follow-up on my next lightsaber. I'm crossing my fingers I'm going to be able to get a blade in there and see if I can get it to light up and look like one of these lightsabers, these custom lightsabers that are out there. I do want to say that I researched a lot online. There are some phenomenal people out there doing some great work with step-by-step guides on how to build, you know, how to wire up the wiring, how to build it. Some are with PVC pipe, so you can also build it with plastic if you don't want to go through the trouble of finding a flashlight that would look good or work with you. But you know what? Hats off to these incredible prop makers and these incredible craftsmen they gave me the idea and the inspiration to go and do this. I hope with this video, I've given you some inspiration and some ideas, maybe gave you a direction to start in if you want to do a build like this. I can say I really enjoy it. I love having something unique and fun like this. And I really encourage you to go out and try one of your hobbies if you have them. It's been super fun the last couple of weeks building the EVA foam, and now doing this. I've been realizing, my inner child, my inner 7 or 8 year old is going crazy right now because I took the time to be able to go and do this, and it was well worth the effort. So I hope you enjoyed the look at my lightsaber hilt. And if you did, don't forget to put a like. If you have any comments or questions, don't forget to leave those too. And I want to thank all my subscribers. I really appreciate you taking the time and clicking that subscribe button. And I want to wish you all a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Keep your fingers crossed. I'm going to be able to make the one with the blade. I'm going to be looking around to see if I can find one, and I'll be able to succeed in doing that one, and we'll see how it turns out in the next video. All right, take care.